Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I want to welcome everybody to this workshop. I'm going to be your presenter for this presentation. My name is Busayo Motuka. I'm the lead platform at Code 14. I want to welcome you once again to the Google Online Safety Training. The Google Online Safety Training is actually like organized by Google, and we are presenting to you from Code 14. Before we go further, I would like to let everyone know who we are at Code 14. Code 14 is a research lab that is focused on empowering educational system to teach computer language from as early as elementary theory. So that being said, let's dive into the business of the day. Once again, the topic for the workshop is be safer online, and the workshop is targeted at pupils from the age of 7 to 14. And it's very important to let us know that the purpose of this training is to train teacher, so that teacher can go back to their various school to replicate the same. That is, to pass on the knowledge to their students. And it actually like in the long run going to help the students to improve their safety on the internet, because this present age, this type of knowledge is very important. So during the course of the training, we are going to be going with some strategies. So I'll call it strategies actually because we are going to be training students, and we need to develop a strategy that will make them feel comfortable and want to participate in the training, right? So we're going to be adopting some technique. So the first technique is when you go into the class to have this training with students, you ask them how they use the internet. That is, your first survey should be how they are using the internet, and how often they are using the internet. So you can go ahead to ask a question like, do you use the internet once a week? Do you use the internet twice a week, or do you use it once in a month or even in a day? So you can ask the student this kind of question, and they will be eager to respond to you, and they'll be looking forward to know what to come in the training. As well, having said that, you can as well ask them some question like, do they use the internet to chat with their friends? Do they use the internet to do homework? Or do they use the internet to share photos of friends and family? Or the last one is do they use the internet to share funny photos and videos? So with these two techniques, believe me, the student we come into the party, they will come into the workshop, and they'll be ready to listen. Another way of note technique is we need to group them into pairs of group, right? So in a class, depending on the size of the class, so we need to put them in the pairs of groups. So you can just split them into 4 in a group, so that during the course of the training you can throw questions to each group. So with this, it will make the workshop a lively one, right? So it will look as if it's only the teacher that is actually like talking. So the student will also be responding back. So having said all this, I want to assure everyone that this trade is going to be a very awesome and very interesting one and very knowledgeable one. So let's move on and see what we have. So just like I mentioned, just like I mentioned, this training is all about how to ensure that our students are safe online. Right. So we are going to be looking at some bad guys on the internet. So we're going to be looking at their character, what they do on the internet. So, but it's very important to let us know that we're not trying to scare the students away from the internet. So, because of this, we should avoid the word like evil. So we shouldn't use word like evil, because if we use this, it's going to scare the student. It's going to scare them away from the internet. Right. So the internet is a very great place to be. People already, a lot of people are already on the internet. People are already having fun on the internet and all that. So all we want to do is to create a kind of consciousness in the students, to let them know that there are some bad people outside there on the internet. So we are going to be going through the bad guys one after the other. The first one, the first bad guy is the oversharer. The second one is the hacker. The third one, the third bad guy is the finisher, and the last one is the troublemaker. So these are bad guys on the internet. They are there. So we're going to be treating them, and we're going to be training the students how they can spot, all these bad guys, how they can spot them on the internet. So let's go to the next slide and let's see what we have. So to qualify as a true hero of the internet, you must be sharp, you must be alert, you must be strong, and you must be kind, and you must also be brave. So these are 5 characteristics of an internet hero. Right. So we're going to be looking at these 5 characteristics of an internet hero. We're going to be looking at it, face our face. We're going to be like, see how we can manage this to be able to overcome the bad guys on the internet. So let's go to the next slide and treat them one after the other. So the first characteristics of an internet hero is how to train the student to be sharp, and they need to be conscious when they are sharing on the internet. So we're going to go to the next slide to see, a sample of how people share stuff, information on the internet, and how the information, went viral and actually go out of their hand. So you will agree with me that the internet connects, everybody together. So we can reach family of far and near, through our platform, through our, various social media platform, right? And majority of the time, we tend to share what is happening in our life. We tend to share with people, right? So, sharing with people is good, but we need to train our little one to be careful when they are sharing. We need to train them to be careful when they are sharing. So, like the sample we are seeing on our screen, this image is used to demonstrate, what happened when you send information out. So the information no longer belongs to you. So the information, once you send it, it goes viral, and you no longer have any control over it whatsoever. So let's go to the next slide and see more example. A good example is the video you are seeing on the screen. So this man, his name is Sodbe. So Sodbe prepared a barbecue of meat. So and he actually shared the video on the internet. He shared the video on the internet. And guess what happened to the video? So This particular video of Sotbe is now has over 6 million views as at 3rd of June 2019, and it has been remade all over the web. So what we are saying here is that this particular video that Sotbe shared on the internet was remade to different fashion. Like people tried making the video, start coming up with their own version of the video. So this is what happens when you share too much. This is what happens when you share. People can actually like help you to circulate it and all that. So let's go to the next and see more example. So this is another video actually. So this video is a video produced by Mark Engen Comedy. I'm sure we might have seen this kind of video before. So teachers should, while we're having this training with students, teachers should try to ask the student if they've ever seen this video before. So teachers should ask them if they've ever seen this video before. So looking at this type of video, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this type of video. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a video produced by a comedian to entertain people. So, but what if this kind of video is a kind of embarrassing video? So this is how it's going to go viral, right? So the video has a lot of went viral, and people start sharing it all over the internet. So let's go to the next slide. So the first bad guys that we're going to be talking about in this workshop is the oversharer. So who are the oversharer? So the oversharer, they are one of the bad guys, like I've said. So there are people you see on the internet that share too much of information about themselves and friends. So by so doing, they can compromise your security. They can compromise your security actually. So once you share information, it might be able to go anywhere over the web. So once information go out of your reach, it might be able to go out, anywhere over the web. And what kind of information should we be careful to protect? So there's some information we need to be careful to protect. So teachers should do well to make a lot of emphasis on this information. Information like your bank information, your home address, your private images, and your platform's passwords. So all of this information are very sensitive, and I mean we want to protect them. So teachers should emphasize on this and let the student know that these are their private information and they should not share with people, especially strange people. So that is that about this oversharer. So moving on, we are going to see how we can actually how we can defeat them, how we can overcome them. Right. So we've been talking about how we should be very careful when we are sharing information on the internet. Right. So bringing it down to the level of the students. So we want to show them that it is possible to configure our settings so that we determine who sees the information we are sharing on the internet. So what this simply means is that if I don't want somebody to see what I'm sharing on the internet, I can actually adjust my settings. I can adjust my settings. Right. So teachers should encourage the students to get their settings close to themselves. If they are not sure how to go about it, they should always talk to their parents or a trusted adult how to configure their settings. So this particular scenario that we can see on our screen is about two friends. They're actually gossiping on the internet. They're gossiping on the internet. The first person is saying, "I hate my teacher," and the friend is responding that, "Me too." So So unknowingly to them, they've forgotten that the teacher is one of their friend on that platform. So the teacher caught them and responded back to them that do you know that we are friends online? So this kind of scenario is very common. People always fall victim of this kind of scenario. So always get your settings close to yourself. Know that it is possible for you to adjust your settings if you don't want some certain set of people to see what you're sharing on the internet. So let's go to the next slide and learn more about this. Okay, so this is us coming to the level, coming down to the level of the students. You know, I mean, in real world, just like you won't allow people anyhow to just come into your room or to just come into your private belongings. So the same thing applies online, right? So you want to limit people to some certain places, like okay, you can't go here, you can't go there. So for example, you invite friends and family into your home, but that does not mean that you allow them to go into your private room and start flipping over your private stuff. So the web is the same. You want to be sure that friends, family, and stranger only see the stuff you want them to see. So it is a good idea to have a look at your share settings, and talk with a trusted adult about the information you want to give to the world. So settings are awesome because they allow you to control who sees what's on your page. You should familiarize yourself with the settings on your favorite social media platform, so that you can share with those people that you want them to see what you're sharing. So this is very important. So teachers should do well to encourage the students to always adjust their setting when needed. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is a video actually. This is a video, and this video is used in this workshop to demonstrate how we can share positively, how we can encourage our students to share positively on the internet, right? So I'm not going to play the video here, but whenever the teachers are having training with the students, they should try to play the video to the students. So the video is all about preaching to the student, letting the student know that sharing can also be good. So we've been talking about how we need to be careful when we are sharing on the internet, but that does not mean that setting is totally bad. So this video is meant to tell us that sharing at times can be can be good. So that is that about that. Let's go to the next slide. So we're going to be reflecting on what we've said so far about sharing and about some information that we shouldn't share with people, some information we can share with people, and the one we can't share without permission. So looking at what we have on our screen. So when you get here, teacher should endeavor to put the student in pairs of group, just like I've said from the beginning of the training. Put them in pairs of group. Ask the student to think about things that are not okay to share with anyone without permission. Ask them if it is okay to share with our family and friends. Ask them if it is okay to share with everyone. So what we have all of these things we have in the table are good example of what we can share with everyone and what we can share with everyone. So I'm going to take one example out of this. So a good example here is your email password. So your email password is not to be shared with people. So we need to let the student know So a particular information like your email password is not meant to be shared with it's not meant to be shared with people. So we need to be conscious of this. So let's go to the next slide. So I'm going to welcome all, I'm welcoming everybody to this to the fun part of this training. So it's in the form of game actually. So along the training, we're going to be having some fun. We're going to be playing games, and all these games are targeted at trying to examine what we if we're actually following. If we're actually following, so they're going to be trained some question. They're going to be trained some question to us about if we're getting it or not. So this particular one is let's play, and it is it's a true or false statement. It's a true or false statement actually. It's a true or false statement. So we're going to be going through it one after the other. So let's see the first. Let's see the first question. So we've discussed so far, once it is on the internet, it stays there forever. True or false? So I'm going to reveal the answer, and as well, I'm going to appreciate if my audience, drop their comments in the comment box. Just drop your answer in the comment box, right? So that I can know what you think about it. So it's actually true. So let's see the second question. 1.37 billion people use the internet. True or false? Um, I want to welcome everybody back, and I'm very sorry for the break in transmission. Right, so I think I had to deal with the internet connection. So welcome back to everybody. So let's continue from where we stop. Okay, so before I went off, I was actually talking about um this game. So like I was saying that this game is going to examine how we've been doing since we started this training. So the first question we have is, once it is on the internet, it stays there forever. True or false? So we're going to see the answer. And like I said, I would like for everyone to drop their comments in the comment box. So let me know what you think. Okay, we can say that it is true. Consider it is true. 1.37 billion people use the internet. True or false? Yes, this is actually true. Yeah, because a lot of people already use it a lot of people are already on the internet, and believe me, the number is only going to increase. The number is only going to increase. So a lot of people are using the internet, so it's going to be true. So let's go to the next question. People are becoming meme and going viral. True or false? This is mostly false. Sharing online can reveal our location. True or false? This is true. So when you are sharing online, it can jeopardize your security, expose your security. So that is why we need to limit, what we share on the internet. If I don't share with my parent, they won't see it. So this is actually false, because it is not until you share with somebody that the person will see it. You can have some group of people on your platform. If you are not sharing with one person, let's say you block the one person, the other people they'll be seeing it. So it's very important to get familiar with your settings. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so I want to congratulate us for completing the first chapter of this workshop. So we're making progress. Let's move to the next chapter. So this is the second characteristics of an internet hero. So this is how we can teach the students to be strong, and be bold whenever they're on the internet. So we need to train them to be very strong. Like we mentioned, that the internet is just like the real world. There are a lot of people on the internet actually, and the students need to be strong before they can actually enjoying their time on the internet without any security issue. So let's go into it and learn more. So there's no way you can talk about being strong on the internet and not talking about the hacker, right? So the hacker, they're just like ourselves. They are human beings, and all they do on the internet is just come there and compromise people's security. So they might access your account and your personal information. So we need to be on the lookout for them. We need to let them know that this kind of people exist. We need to let them know that this kind of people exist. That it will only take us. It will only take. We only need to be strong to be able to overcome them. So let's move forward. So looking at what we have on our screen, these are set of passwords, right? Unfortunately, most people make it too easy for hackers to gain access to their devices. There are some popular passwords. So these are popular passwords, and you can imagine that some people are using this kind of password. So ask the students if they can guess what is missing in this password. Ask them if they can guess what is missing in this password. You'll be surprised that the student will know what is missing, not talk of hackers. Right. So let's move further and learn more. So as we can see what is, you can see the word that are missing from the password. So this is a very weak password, and we should discourage the student from using this kind of weak password. So having said that, how do we create, how do we train the student to create a strong password? How do we create a strong password? What do you think is a strong password? So you just ask the students. So call on some students to think about what make a strong password. Just call upon them, like you can just throw the question into pairs of group and ask them. Right. So before revealing the answer to them. So a strong password should include 8 to 12 characters. A strong password must be mix of numbers and letters. A strong password must be uppercase and lowercase character. A strong password must include special characters. So these are 4 characteristics of a strong password. So let's see them one after the other. Now that we know what's a weak password, we know what is a strong password. So how do we train all the students to memorize it? So because we've been able to establish the fact that for us to create a strong password, we need to put together some special character, 8 to 12 character and all of that. So how do you expect a student of 7 years old to remember all of this? So this is why we need to, take time to teach them how to memorize the password. So that they won't forget their password. And we should let the student know that they can't write their password, they can't write it down. I mean, they can't write it on a sheet of paper and give it to someone to keep for them. No. So we have to develop a way to remember the password. So let's go further and develop a way to remember the password. So what we have on our screen is a very good example of how to combine, letters and numbers together to form a very good password. Yes, combining letters and numbers together to form a very good password. Right. So let's go further and learn more. Right. So we can see how this is being mixed together. So you can actually put letter E together with number 3 to form a very strong password. Let's move forward. Now let's train the student how to create it actually. Right, let's train them how to create it actually. So the first step is to think of a fun phrase or event that you can remember, and write it down. So you just ask the student to think of a fun phrase or a story that have happened to them in the past. Ask them to write it down. So it can be any story. So it could be their family favorite film or a children's book, or the school they attend, or what happened to them when they were young, and all that. So in this case, we are going to use this particular story. My little brother Hassan was born in December, but you should come up with your own. So ask them to come up with their own and all that. So create a strong and memorable password by following this instruction. So that is what the teacher is going to tell. That's what I'm going to tell the student. So student should think of a fun phrase about something fun or magnificent in their life. Ask them to write it down and memorize it. So use the first letter from some of all the words. So just pick the first letter and combine them together to form a very strong password. So look at, for example, the example that we are using. My little brother Hassan was born. So we can just take MLBEWB and put it together to form a very strong password. So this is another example. This is another example. So you can ask them to change letters into numbers and symbols just to mix them together to form a very strong password. So make some letter uppercase and some lowercase, right? So this is a very good practice. Make some letter uppercase, make some lowercase. So having discussed all of this with the student, in order to know if this has worked, we have to check if we can remember our password, right? We have to check if the student can, actually remember their password. And to help them remember their password, you ask them to write it down more than 2 times on the piece of paper, right? So you ask them to write it more than twice on a sheet of paper. So give each student 30 seconds to complete the task. Right. So once they are done, just call on some of them, like just pick randomly and just call them out, come and write it on the chalkboard, so that you'll be sure that they can remember it. And once they are done, encourage them to trash the paper, because it's their private password. They shouldn't give it to anybody. They shouldn't write it on sheet of paper, on piece of paper, and give it to someone. No, they should memorize it actually. So this is yet another game, right? I'm sure we're already familiar with the system of gaming in this workshop. So it is designed to, like I said earlier, it is designed to allow us to have fun, and to test our attentiveness, to test if we are actually following the workshop. So this time around is do or don't. So we're going to be asking some questions based on what we've discussed so far, right? So the first question we have here is: use a unique password for each of your important accounts. Do or don't. So again, I would like you to drop your comment in the comment box, so that we'll know what you're thinking about this particular question. So let me review the answer. So it's actually do. So when you use a unique password for each of your platform, so your password must not be the same. It must not be the same. The second question says, use personal information, name, address, phone number when you make a password. Yes, this actually don't. So you don't use your personal information to create password. You don't use your personal information to create password actually. So let's go to the next slide. Use a password that is easy to guess, like your nickname, your favorite baseball team, right? So this is don't. So I mean, basically, don't use anything that people can associate with you, that people know about you. Don't use it. It's not advisable to use those words, right? So let's move forward. Use at least 8 character, right? This is do. I'm sure this is do, right? Share your password with people, so you don't forget it. And this is going to be don't. No, you don't do that. So students should be discouraged from this. We've been able to establish this, that passwords are not to be shared with people. I mean, the student can actually share with their parent. I mean that their parents, right? They can share with their parents, but not with third party, not with strangers. So let's move forward. Log out of your account when and after you are done on a public computer. Yes, this is very common. This is very common. So once you are done using a public computer, make sure you log out from all platforms. Make sure you log out. This is actually do. So tick remember my password when using a public computer. This is don't. So you don't do that. So we should let the student know that if they are using computer that doesn't belong to them, they should not click remember password. Maybe they try to log into any of their platform, and the browser is asking them to remember password. We should discourage them from doing that for security's sake. Yeah, we just completed chapter 2 of this training, and just as always, I'm going to congratulate us. We've come a long way. We just have some few, slides to go, and I want to be sure we are, we're enjoying this workshop. So let's go to the next slide. Be alert and don't fall for fake. Right. If you can remember, we know that this is the third characteristics of an internet hero. That is, this is one of the things you need to be conscious of if you want to really use the internet as a little one. I mean, for anybody actually, but for little one, this is more important to them. They need to be alert. They should not fall for fake. So just like we know that our little ones will never collect food or candy from a stranger. So the same is applicable online. So it's very important to be able to know the difference between what is real and what is fake on the internet. Right. So talking about how to be alert, on the internet, we're going to look at Fincher. So the Fincher, they're one of the bad guys, and they can gain access into your personal information by tricking you, by disguising as if they're your friend. They can come and deceive you. They can pretend as if they're your mother. They can pretend as if they're your parents. So we need to be mindful of it. They can even harm your device with malware. They can harm your device. They can harm your device with malware. So sometimes Finchers might try to impersonate, just like I've said. You can impersonate to be somebody you know. So phishing is defined as the attempt to obtain sensitive information, such as username, password, credit card details, often for bad reason. So they normally collect all of this things for bad reason by disguising as a trustworthy entity in an electronic communication, like your friend or your bank. So this is the work of the Fincher. So it is good to it is a good reminder to be on the lookout, get clear from anything that seems fishy. So Finchers are good at what they do. I mean, they are very good. They are very perfect at what they do. That's what they do online, and they are getting better every day. So, but with some few tips, with us being conscious, we can actually we can get hold of them. We can identify them when we see them. So let's go to the next slide. So how do we spot a Fincher? How do we when we find ourselves online? How do we know that something is phishing? How do you know if somebody is a Fincher? How do you know if a particular message is fake? How do we know? So we're going to be going through some example on how to be on the lookout for Fincher, how to discover if somebody is a Fincher or not, if a message is real or fake. So the first example we have here is it's really kind of, it looks like a message you're sent to someone, and the body of the message is, oh my God, click here to win 1 million and see everyone who is in love with you. So this type of message is very common. I mean, it's very common. So in this kind of scenario, it's a good idea not to click on the link. So we can see the part of it that is blue, right? So it's actually a link. So it's a good idea not to click on the link unless you're 100% sure it is legitimate. So if you're not sure a link is legitimate, it is not advisable to click on them. It is not advisable to click on them. It is not advisable to click on them. It is not advisable. So let's go to the next to the next scenario. So looking at this one, so this one looks like a Gmail, and looking at the body of the mail, we can see that it has Google, and in the address bar, we can see that we have different web address. So in other words, the body of the mail and the web address, the URL is not, it's not the same. They are not compatible. They are totally different things. So this kind of scenario, we need to know that this is actually fake. We need to know that this is actually fake. So this will take us to another game. Yeah. So this is going to help us to determine if the particular platform is real or fake. So, and to let us to know that these are the things that can let you know if a particular site is real or fake. So the first one is when you find yourself on any site or on any platform, you can just ask, does the site include indicators of a trustworthy site badges, like, I mean, does the site include common things that a normal site we have? You can ask. The second one is, does the site URL match the name and title you are looking for? This is very important. The third scenario is, does the offer seem too good to be true? So some offer can be true, they can be too good to be true, So this is another one. Are there any pop-ups? Does the URL start with HTTPS preceded by a green padlock? Is the person or the site asking you to reveal private information? Right, so these are signals. Let me put it that way. These are signals that we can be on the lookout for whenever we're on the internet. So before you continue with any site, you can just try to find out if all of these things are present with the site. If the site has all of these things, so it is very important. So let's go to another game. So this is Let's Play. So Let's Play. This time around, we are going to be asking if I'm going to be coming up with some scenario, and my audience, I will need you to determine if it is real or fake based on what we've discussed on Fincher and on how to determine a real website or a real information. So let's go to the first scenario. So looking at this scenario, so just read through the email, give groups 30 seconds to decide whether it is real or fake. Tell student time's up and sit or stand the group. So the group must stand up, let them stand up. Ask the group who is standing to justify their answer. So now let's explain it. Looking at the message, the email matched this supposed sender. There are no suspicious link. It is not forcing you to give up or confidential information. So can we say this is real or fake? I would like you to comment in the comment box. So this is another scenario. Looking at this site, this is a website actually, and this website has I think they are selling some products. It has to do with selling shops, and what they are selling is actually donut, from what we can see from their logo, right? So from what we can see from their logo, they are selling donut, and looking at their URL, I mean the web address, you can see that everything matches, everything correlates. They are selling donuts. We have donuts on their website. Their logo is talking about donuts. Their URL is talking about donuts. So everything matches. So this should be real. This should be real. So this is another very popular example. I'm sure we must have come across this. but the little ones might not, they might not really understand what is going on here. And this is why we need to bring it down to their level, explain to them, because you can just be using their phone and this kind of thing can just come up like a pop-up, like congratulations, you won an iPhone. So, these are very common. I'm sure the adults can testify to this. But the little one, they might not be able to find their way around this. They might just fall victim of this. So let's go to the next slide. Right. So we can decide if this is real or fake. So let's decide if this is real or fake. Like this is a mail and it's saying, "Hello, my friend. I've won the lottery and I want to share my good luck with you. I will give you $1,000. But first, please send me your bank details, full name and password, so I can give the money to you." You can see this kind of scenario. So, I mean, this is actually fake. This is actually fake. So we need to let the student know that this kind of thing exists. We need to let them know that this kind of thing exists. So I'm going to scroll over the remaining of the scenario. Right. So by the time we're having this training, let's take our time to go over this one after the other. Yeah. So we just finished the alerts and don't fall for fake. The next slide we have is how to be kind on the internet. Of course, you will agree with me that it's cool to be kind, right? So we've been talking a lot about how to be safe on the internet, how to be on the lookout for feature, how to be careful when we're sharing information. I mean, that does not mean that the internet is totally bad. I mean, we can still do some cool stuff on the internet. We can still extend, love to people on the internet, and all that, just like you do to your neighbor in the real world. I mean, you can still extend to people on the internet. You can share people information that people will need with them. So let's see how. But however, we still need to be careful if you want to be kind. Because some people are there to spoil your mood for you. Some people are there to make it look as if what you are doing is not good, and they are called troublemaker. So troublemaker, if you remember, they are part of the bad guys, and what they do is that they are just there to hurt people's feelings. They are there to that people that when you finish chatting with them or when you see their posts, you just discover that your day is bad. You had a bad day. So we need to be very careful of them. So unfortunately, there are troublemakers out there hurting people's feelings and being cruel to others online. So the worst thing about troublemaker is that they have bad vibes and they can spread negativity fast. So by being cruel to others online, they can turn them in the troublemakers too. So that is why it's so important to use our internet power to stop troublemaking. Right. So let's talk about them. So we're going to be looking at the ways to spread kindness online. So it feels good to be kind, doesn't it? Right. I mean, it feels good to be kind. There are benefits from being kind. There are lots of opportunities to be kind online. Can you think of 3 ways to spread positivity? So let's ask the students kind of question. If they can actually think of ways to spread positivity online. So students put them in pairs of group and ask them this question. So we're going to be going through some scenario. So I'm not going to go over everything. I'm just going to take like 2 or 3. So each scenario, and it's intended to have the student what they can do in each scenario. Right. So the first one we're having is someone found your friend's phone and sent a very really main message about another student. Right. So you can just ask them what can they do in this kind of scenario. Right. So this is another one. So someone is posting seriously mean comment about one of the students in the class on your class blog. What can you do in this kind of scenario? So Let the student be in pairs of group of three. Let's let them discuss what they can do in this scenario. I mean, how to spread positivity and minimize negativity. Remember that options should include stopping the bullying, supporting the victims. Right. So let's proceed. Right. So this is another scenario. So what can the student do in this scenario? So the teacher should ask them what they can do in this scenario. There is an online game that a bunch of your friends play a lot. This one time, one player starts saying really nasty stuff about one of your friends who is playing, and they can't just stop. They can't just stop. So what can they do in this kind of scenario? So just try to find out from the students. So in order for us to be kind online, we should encourage the student not to pass on gossip. This is very important. We should encourage them to block inappropriate behaviors and to always support people on the internet. They should be an upstander. I mean, they should try to defend people that are suffering from depression and all that. And most importantly, they should take responsibility of their action on the internet. Anything you don't want people to do to you, you don't do it to them. So this is a very good example. So let's go to the next slide. Oh yeah, so we just finished the fourth chapter of this workshop. So this is going to take us to the last chapter, and this is all about braveness, how to encourage the student to be very brave online, be brave online. And so when they are not sure about a particular thing, they try to like discuss with people, like especially their friend, that their mother, I mean their parent, I mean trusted adult, right? So let's talk about them one after the other. So I'm sure we know that our students at times can be naughty. I mean they can be very troublesome, right? So we are going to be going through some scenario, and the teacher should do it to ask the students, what they can do in each scenario. I mean, the first scenario we have here is you get a chat from someone with whom you are not familiar with, and the person saying, "I saw you in the math class today. You are cute. What is your address? Can I come over to hang out?" I mean, this message sounds like a message from a stranger, somebody that doesn't know you from anywhere, just saying that let's go and hang out. So I mean, for adults we want to think twice before jumping on this, but for this one, I mean, they're very happy, so they will easily fall for this. So we need to train them to always seek the advice of their parents before they accept any offer, before they jump on any offer. So let's take more scenario. You accidentally download a virus onto your computer. How can you respond? How can they respond? I mean, this is very tricky. This is very tricky, and because these days, whether we like it or not, we're going to be using the internet, and our computer is going to be, getting in touch with various websites, and from there we can download virus into our computer. So all those little one, how can they go about this? How can we train them to go about this? So I mean, they should always speak out to their parents if they see any purpose on their phone. We should train them the need for them to have a kind of antivirus on their computer, right? So this is very important. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. Yes, this is another scenario. You see a message that says everyone's wear purple tomorrow, but don't tell it to. I mean, this sounds like someone is keeping something, is hiding something from someone, right? So we should always train the students to be open-minded, right? If any
friendship or any relationship is going to be secret. They shouldn't be part of it. It shouldn't be part of it. So let's go further. Right, this is the last scenario. A student posts a group photo in a public account and you hate the way you look in it. Would you repeat would you report that photo or not? How can you respond? I mean, this is very common. This is very common among students. I mean, everybody likes to look very good, especially in a group picture. Let's say a class, picture, and this kind of scenario happen. So instead of going to abuse, the team lead, you can actually like, you know, call them and just tell them politely, look here, I don't like the way I look. Please, can we retake the picture? Can you do something about it? And the person will be, I'm sure the person will be ready to help. Right. So that about that. And I want to announce to everybody that we just complete this workshop. Just complete this workshop, and I want to congratulate us because we've come a long way. We've come a long way, and we've actually we've learned a lot in the space of, I mean, let's say 1 hour. We've actually covered a lot, and I want the teacher I want us to take this back to your students in your school, right? So let them replicate this. This is very important. We should replicate this and train them to know what they're doing. To know what they're doing. So I'm going to I'm going to um I'm going to round up now, and hopefully next time we're going to come across each other. So if you have any question, just take your time to respond to send a message to Bukola. So Bukola is going to take our question. Once again, my name is Busayo. So I'm going to see you guys next time. Bye for joining us. Thank you. Okay.